Yo, what's shaking, Kevin Bacon? This is Lego Jake here, and welcome to part 18 of our Ben 10 Power Trip Let's Play. This is not the end, boys.
Uh-oh. I think this guy's gonna give me a cold shoulder. Don't worry, I'll break the ice.
Yes, Ben, yes, we definitely will break the ice, and we will destroy this final towering behemoth that stands before us. It should really be pretty easy, honestly, too. The way to defeat this guy is exactly the same as the last two giants that Hex has sent at us. There's ruin challenges around the circular battlefield that we have to complete to shrink him down to our size where we can beat the crap out of him. The ruin challenges are exactly the same as they are in the open world. You kill all the monsters surrounding the crystal so the force field around it will lower, and then you punch the crystal to destroy it. Really simple stuff. And once you do destroy all the gems and shrink down Mr. Frost Giant to your size, you really just annihilate him with any of your attacks. He's pretty much as weak as any of the peon enemies you fought during the ruin challenges during this fight, so there really shouldn't be any problem once he's small. Overall, this is a really easy boss fight, just as easy as the other two, but I think the design of this one is the best. I like the ice shards coming off of him. He just looks kind of badass, so for that, I think he's a little bit cooler. I'll give him like a 8 out of 10 rather than like a 6 out of 10 for the other two, you know what I'm saying? It is pretty crazy though that we're fighting this big ice giant, but he resembles and looks exactly like Diamond Head on our team. I swear they thought he was made of ice too.
This is becoming crystal clear, Rockface.
And then Ben just made a crystal pun. Like, are they trying to confuse people on if it's diamonds or ice? Guys, just pick one or the other. No one really cares. I will say, one interesting thing while we're taking on the last bit of this boss fight, it is interesting that he is an ice monster at the top of Mount Iceberg, and the last one of these giants we took on was a big industrial construction guy that we met in the city, and the first one we took on was a big wooden tree guy because we met him in the forest. Mind blown.
Woohoo! No more Mr. Ice Guy. Too bad Hex got cold feet and wouldn't fight me himself. He must know he's on thin ice.
Do you honestly think that Hex believes he's on thin ice, Ben? He might know we're on his tail and about to catch up to him, but he's pretty cocky like 99.9% of the time. I don't think he thinks he's on thin anything. I think he pretty much believes he's at peak excellence all the time. What does this say now? Max loves going on adventures with his grandkids, Ben and Gwen, and will do anything to keep them safe. Well, that's just wholesome and nice, Grandpa Max. Maybe one day we'll use your fast travel system. Surprise, we will in the extras video.
Gwen, Hex has all 4 of the crystals. He must be headed for the castle now.
Uh-oh. Head back to the campsite and we'll figure something out. We won't let him win, Ben.
On my way.
Okay, so Gwen wants us to meet back at the campsite, obviously, and as you guys know, I pre-record all my footage and commentate over it so we can all just hang out and watch it together, essentially. And this run back to the campsite took me just under 4 whole minutes, and I can't even stand to rewatch that. I'm not going to make you guys rewatch that, and I'm not going to try to commentate over it, so I'm just going to cut the footage, and we are going to appear back there. I will see you guys in 1 second. And just like that, we've made it. What's poppin', Gwen? What you need?
I need to get to the castle to stop Hex.
Wait a minute, Ben. You'll need some kind of protection so Hex doesn't scatter all your aliens again. The tablet has one last section that shows some kind of magical shield called the Omniguard. Maybe that could protect you.
It sounds like our only hope.
The Omniguard is in the Void Realm, but to access it, you need an old book with a strange symbol on the cover.
Wait a minute. I've seen that symbol before. Dr. Fibian used a book with that symbol for her beard growth serum. I bet it's still in her lab.
Yay, hooray, for all you Dr. Fibian fans, she's back in action, baby. Gotta go back to the swamp, which I am dreading a little bit because if you remember, the swamp was the laggiest area in this game so far, and this is definitely Lag Central, the game. So, when you got the laggiest part of Lag Central, oh boy, you're in for a treat. On the bright side, when we first got to the swamp, I believe in like part 4 of this series, I did mention how I absolutely love the aesthetic here. How could you not? It reminds me of like Princess and the Frog. And also, side note, who else is excited for Princess and the Frog to take over Splash Mountain? I think we all love Splash Mountain, but who doesn't love all the characters and everything from Princess and the Frog, and the idea of floating down the bayou to the awesome music from that movie in a ride format? That would be absolutely awesome. And this area here in the swamp makes me feel like we're playing a video game version of Princess and the Frog mixed with Ben 10. It is absolutely awesome. So even though there is a lot of lag in this area, it is made up for with some straight badassery. And I think we can all agree on that, am I right? And I suppose while we're on the general subject of this swamp area, I'll go ahead and hit you guys with the question of the day. What is you guys' favorite movie or TV show or anything that's based in a swamp? It can be Princess and the Frog, it can be Shrek if you're an absolute savage, it can be whatever you want, I just want to know. And also, what is you guys' favorite theme park ride, and maybe one you're excited for in the future? I want to know.
I have the book. Let's see. Vacuums, vegetables, void. It has a spell for opening a void rift, but it looks like it'll only work in a place called the Circle of Stones.
Hey, I saw that on my touring Strudelbeck pamphlet. Did you know it was built in...
Maybe not the time for fun facts, Grandpa. I'll send you the location, Ben. Meet us there.
Alrighty then, boys and girls, let's make our way to the Circle of Stones like Gwen wants us to. And to get back to what I was saying, I would probably say my favorite of the swamp properties would either have to be Princess and the Frog itself, or maybe like Swamp People and Duck Dynasty and weird shows like that, you know, actual swamp stuff. See, you can pick whatever you want, guys. I didn't say animation. You can pick any swamp-related IP. See, there's a lot more out there than you think. It's an interesting question. And then, obviously, rides I'm excited for would be the new Splash Mountain. I want to ride the new Ratatouille ride. I want to ride the new Tron ride. I live in Florida, so I'm all around theme parks all the time. If there's one thing I can always talk about, it's theme parks. In fact, I even wanted to, at some point, play through and do some Let's Plays on theme park games, like that Disneyland Adventures game for Xbox One or the Universal Studios game on GameCube. They're all awesome.
Let's get this void rift open. Barasum?
Alrighty guys, with Gwen's stupid chant out of the way, we can officially enter the void, good movie reference, and see exactly what's going on in here. Shockrock's indestructible stone armor covers his arms, chest, and legs, and also enhances his strength. Well, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I can definitely tell you it does enhance his strength. He is one powerful mofo. He may be the strongest alien on our team. He pretty much takes out everybody else in like 1, 2, maybe 3 hits max. He is an absolute badass. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as to call him indestructible, though, because none of my aliens are indestructible. We've done a pretty lackluster job at upgrading them, especially defense-wise, so any of them, including Shockrock, can pretty easily, be railed. I'm not gonna lie, they can pretty easily die. So I wouldn't say any of them are even close to indestructible, but you see that power? He is pretty strong. Oh, maybe not that power falling off the cliff, but everything else about him is still pretty impressive, I would say. Yeah. Anywho, though, I should probably explain what we're doing here in this void area. As you can see, it says to complete Trial A, and when we first walked into this area, before we walked into this specific challenge, it said to complete all 3 trials. And, as you can also see, we're playing as Forearms and Shockrock in this specific trial. There are 3 trials. You get 2 aliens per trial. We have 6 aliens total. So, this is really the last big run to see if you have perfected each and every one of your aliens, because we are leading into the boss fight with Hex, where we really need to be good with every single alien we have to make it past his defenses and him himself as well. So that's really what we're going on here. It's pretty simple puzzles and stuff that kind of correlate to the characters that you're playing as, but mostly it's just a ton of enemies of all kind. The giant giant Humpty Dumpty guys, the little peons, the armored guys, and the big macho dudes as well. There is enemies of all kinds here. Oh, can't forget the flying guys as well. Yeah, there's tons of enemies of all kinds. That's really the challenge here, because if you really think that pushing a stack of logs to make that light post appear outside of that is even slightly difficult, then you out your mind, girl. It's all about the enemies fighting at you, and it can definitely become overbearing. Throughout these challenges, I did die a couple of times, not just from falling off cliffs, but from enemies as well. Again, if you would come in here after upgrading your defenses completely and your attack and everything, you'll probably just be able to coast right through, but it is a little bit of a challenge for anyone who is of average defense and attack skill, I would say. Overall, it does sort of train you to be as best as you can with your dudes because there are so many enemies, so it is a nice little training segment, and it is fun to go through these trials as well. I did have a really good time playing through all of these. I was sat for like an hour or so, just having like the time of my life. This is some peak Ben 10 power trip stuff, and I absolutely love it. Gotta give it some credit where credit is due. Am I right, y'all? And also, in case I forget, I should bring up that in just this episode, we're only doing Trial A, because we did a whole bunch of other open world stuff. In the following episode, episode 19, we will be doing Trials B and C, and making our way to Hex's castle, in case anyone was wondering. It is truly mind-boggling that we are here nearly at the end of this series together, and I really gotta thank you guys for the amount of support that has been shown over this series. A lot of likes, a lot of views, like hundreds on every episode. I've got a lot of subscribers off of this. I'm over 20 at this point, which I know doesn't sound like much, but we started this series when I had 0 subscribers. So, as far as like a brand new channel goes, I really gotta thank you guys for how much this has like grown everything, and how like just awesome it's been. It's been a ton of fun. I've talked to a lot of people in the comments, and it's just been a super fun ride, and I really appreciate you guys, so I figured I should mention that as well. Also, well, we just reached the final area of this challenge, so I should kind of explain what's going on here. It is as simple as all the other ruin challenges, but there's more like upwards of in the 20s of enemies rather than like 4 or 5 with typical ruin challenges. And as you can see, there's a bunch of the light posts that you can use shock rock to get up to, where you need to fight a bunch of the shielded projectile baddies that we're doing right now to bring the force field of the little ruin down. It's really simple. It's not hard at all. Honestly, this Trial A, has to be the easiest of all of them, because all of these shielded guys are up on these platforms. You can really just fight a couple of them at a time versus a million enemies coming at you like some of the later things we're going to be taking on. Overall, it's just pretty simple. If you still have that kind of stride going from when you took on the boss, then this should be no problem at all, because it's so similar in every way. I don't know why they made these ruin challenges essentially like a good portion of the game. It seems like every single enemy, every boss, it all leads to these ruin challenges. Don't know why, but it is entertaining enough, so whatever. The one really good thing about having all these ruin challenges is that up to this point in the game, we are really good at taking them on. You should be anyway, especially if you're fully upgraded. Even though we aren't upgraded, we are still taking on all of this with relative ease. Hex should be pretty frickin' scared, honestly. Gwen has many different interests, including science, cosplay, and something else. That is what we call very useful information. Thank you, little loading screen there. But yes, we lit the fires on those doors. We have one of the trials completed, and again we will take on the other 2 in the following episode. I will see you all then. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Peace.